Hi guys, it's ASBYT and the Samsung Galaxy S21 series is launching very soon on the 14th of January and then going on sale very soon after that. But what are we actually getting with this new generation? I've got all the information right here in this video. A cracking new smartphone from Samsung, no doubt, but it's also going to have a few things that might make you think, whatever that is. Drop a like on the video if you are excited for the new S21 series, and let's get straight to it. So the S21 series will consist of a 6.2-inch S21, 6.7-inch S21 Plus, and a 6.8-inch S21 Ultra. The S21 and S21 Plus will both feature Full HD Plus 120Hz refresh rate display panels, whereas not only will the Ultra be available in W Quad HD Plus resolution with a 1600 nits peak brightness, but the refresh rate will also be adaptive, so the phone can toggle between the max 120Hz all the way down to just 1, depending on what you're doing. And this could be absolutely huge for battery life. But more on battery in a second. All models will have a central punch hole camera cutout, housing front-facing 10-megapixel sensors on the S21 and S21 Plus, with the Ultra expected to have a 40-megapixel snapper. Many of you guys were hoping for the under-display camera technology that has been hyped by Samsung and has been worked on by Samsung for what seems like an eternity, but as far as we're aware, I still can't speak in any video that I do. As far as I'm aware, it is still not quite retail ready for mass production according to Samsung, and we are expected to possibly see it in their next Fold device later in the year. If you are interested in watching a video on a smartphone that does have an under-the-display camera tech in it, I will leave it listed up here. Well worth a watch. The ZTE Axon 20, retail ready as well. If we flip to the rear cameras, this is where it gets a little interesting. The camera bump is actually built into the frame and certainly adds a sleeker, more eye-friendly design than we saw on the S20 series from last year. Absolute eyesore! Again, the S21 and S21 Plus share the same 12-megapixel primary and ultra wide-angle sensors, as well as a 64-megapixel telephoto lens. But the Ultra will have a second-generation 108-megapixel primary sensor, as well as an ultra-wide and telephoto lens also. But get this, it's expected to have optical zoom of up to 10 times. Optical, 10 times. Which means you can punch in 10 times and it still be exactly pretty much the same sharpness. Incredible. For comparison, the iPhone 12 Pro has 10 times zoom, max, digital. So 2 times optical, 2 times punch in the same quality, 10 times digital only. So the difference between the two phones will be drastically sharper on the S21 Ultra. Of course, the Pro Max does have 2.5 times optical zoom, but you're splitting hairs a little bit there compared to 10 times. Subscribe, of course, for camera comparisons on launch. If you can hear the sound of somebody eating, it's Dottie, my cat. She's grazing, and it's pretty annoying, so I apologise. All phones will be able to record video on both the front and rear cameras at the same time, and up to 8K at 30 frames a second as well. Again, can't wait to test that. Now, of course, recording 8K video on a smartphone is battery zapping. So where do we sit on the S21 in terms of battery capacity? Well, the S21, S21 Plus and S21 Ultra will contain 4,000, 4,800 and 5,000 mAh battery cells respectively. No real surprises there and decent battery capacities across the board. But of course, battery life is also dependent on software, number one, and the phone chip. So where do we stand on that? Well, it will be Android 11 with One UI 3.1 over the top, which will bring a glut of new features, including rumoured new display features for better eye comfort, Google Discover feed on One UI Home, and a possible Bixby voice to unlock feature, which, again, it'll be interesting to test that out. And the chipset. Of course, the chipset. Always the big debate. When we're talking Samsung phones, have different regions, we have different chipsets, usually. But this time with the S21, the big rumour was we were going to see the Qualcomm variants completely dropped from the range across the board globally. And they were going to stick with Exynos and use the Exynos 2100 across the board, thus avoiding the constant discrepancies, and it'll be far more profitable for Samsung. But we now believe that isn't going to be the case, and we are going to go with the tried and tested almost formula from Samsung of places like the US and China receiving a Qualcomm variant. You will be receiving the Qualcomm Snapdragon 888 chip, and the rest will be getting the Exynos 2100. Both are built on a 5nm process like the Apple A14 Bionic on the iPhone 12 series, and early tests appear to show they're actually closer than previous device comparisons. The GPU performance does look superior on the Qualcomm chip, but CPU performance looks identical. Of course, one big difference that many noticed last year with the S20 series was that the chips actually had an effect on battery life more than anything, and I certainly felt that for the size of the 5000 mAh cell, it should be performing a little bit better, and it didn't compete with the Qualcomm models. So are we due to see this issue again this year? Well, the good news is, from the looks of things, possibly not. Although the Exynos 2100 doesn't appear to perform quite as well as the Qualcomm 888, it's not too far away. Obviously, I will have the real-world use battery life drain lowdown very soon. Now, this info was taken from nanoreview.net, and I'm not sure how reliable it is, but if it is true, it will be very interesting to see real-world results due to those differences, and I will try and get my hands on both variants to compare it for you if that's something you're interested in. Let me know below. There will be 6 colour options of either Phantom Black, Phantom White, Phantom Silver, Phantom Violet, Phantom Pink, or Phantom Grey. A lot of phantoms, if you're asking. Knowing Samsung, I would imagine that certain colours will only be available on certain models. The Ultra usually has maybe 2 or 3 possible colour options, whereas some of the other sizes have more. We'll see whether that works again. 25-watt fast charging, as well as reverse wireless charging and an IP68 rating are all expected, as is Samsung DeX compatibility and apparent S Pen support for the Ultra. Although it's difficult to work out currently right now in what context that will be, but there has been heavy rumours of that support. So yeah. 8GB of RAM and 128GB of storage are said to come as a minimum on this series, but unfortunately it looks like there will no longer be support for a micro SD card slot. No expandable storage? Let me know what you think about that. A heavy feature that many Samsung fans are a fan of. The phone's not fully been revealed yet, so not all hope is lost, but this is what we expect. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just saying. All models will come with 5G options, with expected starting prices from €849 for the basic S21, while the S21 Plus will be from €1,049 and the S21 Ultra from €1,399. Let me know what you think of all of what you've heard. Fair price? Too expensive? And which model do you prefer, and which model might you go out and buy? Remember to sub to the channel if you want to see all of that juicy unboxing and review goodness, which is coming in just a matter of weeks or days. Might be days, you never know. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.